I was originally born in a small village in Uganda. Grew up walking 2 hours to go to school. If you told me that I'll be standing in this space 2 years ago, I'll laugh at you because I know where 2 years led me. I take no minute for granted because of the journey I've lived.
My ultimate goal is to be able to change and help those I left behind.
Use every opportunity to learn, to go back in your communities where you came from and be the change, be the vehicle of change that we desire.
This is not a self-seeking journey for us. As Albert Bakasara, I'm not looking for UNAA to define me or to provide me with a purpose or cause in life. By every measure you can use to really evaluate an immigrant in this land, I have and I'm still living the American dream. What motivates me? A deep-held desire to give back to my community. As the good book says, to whom much is given, much will be required. I look around and I see the diversity of talents in our community. I would like to see us tap into those talents to build a UNAA that is unique and positive. That our children one day could look back and say, our parents really built something for us, and we're glad that they did.
bali mupiala yetukola yonebo tubatere ngoma nibazeta zitabo wakaya nyina yamani hura vibe ntinisa bafekera pa mukila ruhaga warunye fulondi hasiwe nsasa inesa chinga YouTube hona handa mamba bonga mbupapo rhyme zange siba vere taratibu kalempo nirisanke biro bya mufepo nikaliba murunye kwenye kasupapo wispantina nkabalu shababu wina waka.
Yes. How? Tuinawaka. That is a very good one. That energizes me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this morning show program Agafa Mwengula. Bulaya mwasize mutia, as I usually say, salongo chigondo wano mu masekati ga America inesanyo lingi okubaniriza nshaya lero nchaziza team unity badde nga bina bagambye badde mbanonya naye nga bali ku luguudo bali wano bali kati lwaliro bafunya akadde ne bayitako wano era sanyo gerere instance okubalaba banange. Good to see you.
Rapid size of flower. Same here.
Thank you. Tell me, how is it going?
Hey, God's grace is still sufficient.
Because I think last time I was trying to find you. You were up in the air, and air travel was an issue. But yes. I'm glad everything is well, and good to see you, Albert. I second anything.
No, I second that. I second that. We are live.
Yeah. Well, welcome to my show. Thank you very much. For those who do not speak my native Luganda, the show is called Agafa Mwengula, and my guest today is Team Unity. UNAA decides 2021, 2023. We're going into Cincinnati. This team here is saying that, hey, we want to change UNAA from everything that I have seen. That's what they intend to do, and I am happy to talk to them this morning. Where do I start? I think let me start with the ladies. Lydia, you're leading the team.
Yes, right? Sir.
And a lot of people out there, once we advertise that you're coming to see us, or talk to us, they always send in some questions. And the gist of what I hear everybody asking me is, why now? Why Lydia? Why now? Right? And while you do that, you please, and feel free to mix any language that you want to use, but you please let my viewers understand from a background standpoint who you are and where are we going. Why Lydia? Why now?
Thank you so much, Salome Chugondo. What an honor to be, finally to be here. Lydia Natoolo is my name, Vice President of UNAA, current Vice President of UNAA. I reside in Irvine, California, but currently I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, my home away from home. I started here 21 years ago. You'll excuse my tiredness. I've been in 7 states now, and we're still going, we're still pushing. Being the Vice President, God has enabled me to be in a space where, to be on the table that makes decisions. I cannot say everything has been spilled milk, no. First of all, I want to thank the founders of this great organization, UNAA, that has been here for 33 years, which was created for us in the diaspora. A great foundation was built, and we're so honored that it was. As I said, 21 years ago, I came here, and for all the time, I've seen that there's gotta be more that should be done. But I never gave myself to get into a leadership position. First of all, living in California, I work at the University of California Medical Center in the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine. Just graduated from University of California with 2 degrees, one in biology, another one in political science. Why add science with politics? Because I believe politics runs everything. So coming into UNAA, I chose to run for the VP-ship. And while I've been there, and why I'm coming, I've noticed that there's a lot more work to be done. There's a lot we need to change. And that is why we've chosen this team. Some of them have been on the table that makes decisions, but as a team, we've realized that there's more to be done and better. We are not saying we are better than the ones who have been there, but we are saying that they're just basic principles that have not been followed, not just with this current leadership, but also the previous leaders. And that's why some of the Ugandans broke away. That's why some Ugandans do not even want to associate themselves with UNAA. But we are saying this organization is for us in the diaspora. Team Unity is bringing back this organization back in the hands of the diaspora to have accountability, to have transparency, and to get results and get the job done. So thank you so much. There's more we shall talk about down the road. Back to you, Mr. Chigunde.
Great. Thank you, Lydia. Next, the one and only Maureen Kalemba. Afande. I don't know which one do you prefer, Afande or Maureen?
I prefer Afande because I'm a servant. Afande means you're a servant. You're there to help people, secure them, give them anything that you want to give them. So you're a volunteer to do the job. That's why Nina Waka.
Nina Waka. All right. Nyawo nsanyusa okulaba Afande.
Nange sebo wano mu studio zo sebo.
Yeah, mwebale nnyo webalire ddala okukola enteekateeka ne mutuukako wano. Era abatulaba abatuwuliza weewaawo abamu bayinza okuba nga bakumanyi naye njagala abatakumanyi bakumanye beeyanjulire mu bufunze bwangu. Afande yange.
My name's Maureen Kalemba, and commonly known as Afande Momo. I hail here in Massachusetts, Boston. I am the New England representative in Massachusetts, or the New England region, which is Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Maine. So, and then I go into the council, and I am the speaker of the council, currently in UNAA. Then I am a soldier by profession, and I am a lawyer by profession. And I do also health work, caregiver. So I'm proud of all my roles and all my hats that I wear. in a nutshell, that is my kind of work I do. I'm a volunteer and I love volunteering. That's why I offered myself to serve in UNAA, because in the military, I have even an award, a volunteer award, which was given to me because I'm family readiness volunteer. My family, I'm always volunteering it for the work that is needed for service within the military. So I brought it back in the community to do the exact thing. So that's Maureen Asimwe Kalemba, Afande Momo in a nutshell.
Great. Good to have you here, Afande.
Thank
you
you.
for stopping by. Next, Albert Bakasara. Albert, I always see you from a distance. I know you, I see you doing a lot of things, the Natoolo Community Association, that organization, and so many other things I've been following. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Please do the same. Let my viewer or follower briefly get to know who you are.
Thank you, Salongo Chigundo. My name is Albert Bakasara, as Salongo just said. I want to actually go back to my upbringing to give your viewers a glimpse of who I am. Because I've seen a lot of people who have met me recently or who have heard some things about me try to define me. I was born in Fort Portal. I'm the son of Samson Bakasara and Mole Perpetua Basemera. I'm the only child of my mom to my dad. My mom had me when she was in high school. My dad was one of the richest men in Natoolo. Because why I'm telling you this is because so people can get an idea of who I am. My mom and my dad lived, they were never married, of course, obviously. They lived about 2 miles apart. So I had the best of both worlds growing up. If I wanted the rich experience, I could just walk to my dad's place, where everything was as you would even imagine it here in the US. And then at my mom's place, we did the little things. We even had the tadoba, you know, those little lanterns that you lit. We didn't have running water. We didn't have none of that. So that is the model. That is what has modeled my life. I never get so excited about anything in life. I don't get that much overcome by anything in life because there's nothing I had not seen growing up. And at the same time, there's nothing that really draws me so down because there's nothing I hadn't seen. So that is me in a nutshell, and I've carried that throughout my life. Where am I now? Well, I'm a father of 4, husband. I'm a civil servant. I work for the US federal government. I'm a budget policy analyst. I live in the state of Maryland, work right outside of Washington, D.C. And as my video, the video you played, really narrated, I've really had a great experience as an immigrant in this community. And I would like to share that experience and maybe help one other person who has been or is in my circumstances to get where I am. That is the experience, a personal experience that I'm bringing to my life. I'm not bringing the education and all that. Yes, and I am educated. I do have 2 master's degrees and I have a great job, but I'm not bringing any of that. I'm just bringing a personal journey, a personal experience of service, perseverance, hard work to UNAA. That's all. And if we can't help 1 or 2 people to walk my journey and get to where I am, my job will be done. You talked about my work with Natoolo American Association. Yes, I was the founding chairman of Natoolo American Association. I resigned last December on my own accord. I was begged to stay. I did not want to stay because I had taken on a new job with a new administration. And also I had just accepted Lydia's request to be her vice president in UNAA. That is the reason I left. It's a great organization, probably one of the, maybe the only Ugandan organization actually that has been helping our people in Uganda with COVID. So that's my experience and that's my expertise that I will bring to the table. You asked Lydia a question. Why now? Honestly, she did give an answer, but my answer is because why now? Because we have to adapt to the urgency of now. Enough is enough. We cannot be walking in circles like we have been for the last 33 years. Enough is enough. I would like to see a UNAA that works for all of us. A UNAA that lives to its potential. 33 years, and we don't even have an office. We don't even have a phone number that you can call and somebody in UNAA answers. 33 years, and we don't even have $50,000 or $100,000 on our account at the end of a convention. 33 years for the lawyers, the doctors, the experts, all the radio personalities like the Chigundus. 33 years, and we don't have really what we can show as tangible to say, you know what, we have done that. Yes, this organization has done a few things right and would like to build on that. But I don't, as a budget analyst, when we're doing our work, we don't just analyze on the things we do. We don't say in the federal government, oh, we've given you money and you've built 6 schools. That's an output. We look beyond that to the outcomes. When you built the 6 schools, how many students graduated? And when those students graduated, how many of them were employed? Those are the things that's how I look at UNAA, because some people might think I'm harsh, or UNAA has done a few things. Yeah, you have done a few things. But if you are a whole doctor that went through 12 years of education in school, and all you did was bandage a wound, I don't credit you for that. And maybe that's why I'm harsh to some of our leaders. I don't credit you for that. Yes, you used your expertise to make sure that the wound was sanitized and all that. But really, 12 years of education? And that's all you could do? So that's where I'm coming from. It's not a criticism of saying that our leaders don't work. And you will never hear me say that the likes of Madam President Henrietta Wamala have not worked. They have worked. Nea, as you know, you're a good Muganda man. The Waganda has a very favorite saying of mine, Omumpi wa koma wa kwata. Madam Henrietta Wamala can only do what Madam Henrietta Wamala can do. So the urgency of now is not what that requires more than that. Okay, she has done her best, and we appreciate her for that, and the other leaders who have worked. But her abilities and the challenges we're facing today are incompatible. So I'm not coming there because I hate her or because I don't think she's working. Oh, she works very, very hard. One of the hardest people that I know. But the question is, what are you doing and who are you doing it for? What are you doing and who are you doing it for? If those questions are incompatible with the challenges and aspirations of our diaspora community, then she has to go. And that's why we're here. So you ask why now? That's why now.
All right. Thank you very much, Albert. Thank you. Oh, I hear you. I'm here to listen. So I want to come back to Lydia with the something because I still need to hear why Lydia, why now? But I also making an arrangements for you guys to come here. Maureen informed me that she might be on the way to another destination. So let me give Maureen some time to tell me. Maureen, you introduced yourself, right?
Yes.
You are the speaker.
Yes.
What do you do as a UNAA speaker? Because and before you go to answer that question, we're coming out of Chicago 2019. We all got very excited as a community because the UNAA had gone through some rough times, some rough and tumble. Yes. So the excitement was that, okay, now we have Madam President, Madam Speaker, and even Madam Vice President. So you ladies took charge, yes. Right? So as you tell me what your role is as a UNAA speaker, please also, because I don't know if I'll have you for the long haul here, tell me, how do you think this has gone? The ladies have been in charge.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chigundu, for that question. And yes, the ladies, we have been in charge and we are excited That is why we want to take it a notch higher, you know, because when we were in charge, we found things that are wanting. But again, I'm going to go back to my speaker role before I come to things that are wanting. So that's why the ladies are moving up a stage higher. So I got the speaker role. In the speaker role, you are voted by your fellow council members. That's how you become the speaker. So I was voted into power. Mr. Bakasara was my deputy speaker, and Mr. Mike Mukasa was also voted as the secretary. Madam VP heads the council as the VP. She does not vote into the council, but she heads the council, and she is the person we go to as the overall consultant in the council. So that's the council leadership that I've just introduced. In the council, as a speaker, you have to chair and table meetings. Generally, the job of the secretary up there also is done by the speaker here in the council. So that's why I'm in the same path line going to the actual other job that actually is done like a speaker in this time, in this section. We recommend, table, implement policies, and also we make policies. So all that is done by the speaker. You have to table the budgets that come in from the executive and from other organs. You have to table the policies that other organs are trying to make. Right now, the biggest table we have is the constitutional review, which everybody is tabling what recommendations they want to see in the 2023 Constitution. We in the council made standing procedures for the council so that every person who comes to be a speaker or into the council leadership finds standing procedures which the council will use. They will add on, but they won't take away. So the standing procedures were made, and so we presented them. They made the bylaws of the council, and everybody in the council has to adhere to these standing procedures. And then if at all the next speaker has something else to add on, they will add into the bylaws, but they would not take away the standing procedures and say they were not going to use the standing procedures for previous years. No, we have to continue going. The trend we found in UNAA, when another leader comes, they erase what the first leader did. And we are saying we do not need to erase anything from the previous leadership, but we are going to add on. That's why we're saying we are going a step higher, you know, to add on where we feel that there are gray areas and patch them up and make a smooth road for this organization so that it can excel, you know, because we believe in excellence, we believe in results, we believe in feedback, we believe in transparency, we believe in accountability. All those are roles of the speaker. She has to make sure that she's transparent, honest, loyal to her subordinates, which are the youth council members and the people who voted her into power, okay? And so this speaker is into the role that she cannot do things on her own. She has to do things with the council, with the members, with everybody that has an argument or an idea for UNAA. They'll come to the speaker and say, Madam Speaker, we need this to be tabled. And then if it's not in my office, I always say that is not my office. Or if it has to come to my office through a certain organ, I will say, can you please present it to the executive or to the BOT? And then they will trickle it down to the council. And when I receive it, I table it. We formed a council calendar, which calendar I'm bringing also to UNAA, because UNAA does not have a calendar, except the convention. That's when they bring out a calendar. Have you ever seen a UNAA calendar, Mr. Chigundu?
Ndi wane mubwengula ne mpulira byammwe.
Have you ever seen it? Yes or no? We are in court. It's one of two answers. We don't. Yes, if you've never, it's okay. You have not damaged nobody, you know, because the organization does not have it, okay? But for us in council, we would never go to council to sit when we do not know what is happening. I leave a meeting telling people what to expect in the next meeting. So we want to bring that culture into UNAA, where we know this month we are doing breast cancer. This month is community development fund. This month is community emergency fund. The other month, so that UNAA has something which is moving. We don't like surprises, whereby we are surprising people all the time. We are not planning. And this is why people do not know about UNAA, okay? Because we do not have a calendar. We do not move on program. We move according to individual programs. We are removing individual programs and bring a team program, okay? Where all organs, CRC, RDC, BOT, council, executive, we are all in line. That is what we want to see, because we found that we are all not in line. We are all thinking that we are too many chefs. Spoil the what?
The dish.
Okay?
Okay.
So we are too many chefs in there, but we are saying you are all smart people, but we are not moving forward. Why is that? They don't have leadership. Everybody thinks they are a leader who can do what they want in UNAA. No, the Constitution Review has made penalties where the leaders now are going to be held accountable. We need accountability, whereby people are not going to run away with our money, whereby people are not going to make for us these decisions where they are taking us to COVID, in the convention, instead of giving people the mandate to vote online. All these things that we shall have the people accountable. We're not going to allow people to just make decisions because it suits them in the election time. You move a convention to Ohio. When you know that one was already budgeted for, we don't need to spend any more, okay? Because we had already finished spending in San Francisco. All we needed is to revamp it and we go. But now we spent twice on two tours and 2 travels and 2 preparations. Yet already we had a preparation which was only done. We only had to do one thing, is to kick it off, okay? And then we said, no, Ohio. These are self-service things, so we need to remove all that quagmire, all that craziness, all that trash, and make sure we get something streamlined. So that is my role of the speaker, making sure we streamline things. So that is why in our council, you found us that we can butt heads, we can think, we can challenge each other, because we need a streamlined leadership. And I'm glad that in our council, we were able to have the CDF, we are able to have the Community Emergency Fund, we are able to have the standing procedures, we are able to approve 4 directors, we are able to approve 4 EC members, we are able to do the life insurance, we're still debating it, and we're still debating their repatriation. So we were able to call up people who never turned up to present their budget. But however, the ones we called up who are the EC, they came, they tabled their budget, they debated it, and we were able to approve the EC one. The one for the executive, where we are going into this convention, they refused to come to table it. Why? Because they know that there are some holes in there which they do not want to answer into the council. So that is our council, and that is what council does, and that is where we are today. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, before I let you go, 2 follow-ups there.
I'm still on. Don't worry. I'm still on. I gave you your time, and then I'll go when you're done.
Okay. All right. Very good. But while I still have you fired up like that, I need to ask you.
I am still
because
fired up.
you did hint
Yes.
because I'm up here. I'm wondering how is it going? What's going on in council? Now, I hear the tempo that you just charged there. You're saying we were able to butt heads, right?
Yes.
Is that the role of the council? My understanding of the role of the council is to check. Not only do you make policy, but you're a check to the executive, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Now, do you do it by butting heads? How are things working there between the executive side?
No, when we say butt heads, it's not we fight. We are telling you what doesn't work, okay? And we are telling you that doesn't work, this one works. Everybody, diversity is butting heads because we are all diverse. Mr. Chikundu, the way you think is not the way I think. Madam Natoolo thinks is not how I think. Mr. Bakasara, the way he thinks is not how I think, okay?
Right.
But
That's right.
that is now we can bring a discussion, and the discussion that we are bringing, we are showing you that we are showing you that this discussion is not working, okay? And we are telling you that, please, if it's not working, can you please listen to somebody else's which is working? And you're like, no, I still want mine to be listened to. So that is you're batting heads because you're trying to get your ideas across.
I understand.
Ideas not working.
Yeah.
Then hey, you're not gonna get the vote. We're gonna go with the vote of the ideas that are working.
Okay. All right. So in other words, you're challenging and you're asking questions.
Yes.
So that's what you meant. All right. And one more thing. How you mentioned about the Board of Trustees, the BOT, Board of Trustees.
Yes.
That's an important organ in UNA.
Yes.
And a little bit of history for me. I started paying attention. I used to come to UNA as just an attendee, like most people come to the convention and go back home. And then post Miami, there was some push and pull, right? And the BOT was in the middle of it, and they made decisions. And I remember saying, look, if this is the organ that we have that makes decisions, we should respect those decisions. Otherwise, and everybody, if all of us are going to make decisions, then what are we going to do? We have these bodies to make decisions. Now, looks like recently, the BOT, the Board of Trustees, made some decisions, right? So you as a speaker, I think you may have disagreed, right? But my question to you is, how can you define what is the relationship between the Board of Trustees and the UNA Council? And have you guys ultimately, either in disagreement, respected the decisions of the Board of the Trustees?
Okay, I will bring a case in point. I won't even go anywhere else because I know that the Board of Trustees are the actual decision makers or the interpreters of the Constitution.
Yeah, the arbiters, yes.
Yeah, so they are also the interpreters. They interpret the Constitution for all the organs. Okay?
Yeah.
So they implement that Constitution. Okay? The Constitution Review Committee just makes the Constitution, but the people who really are responsible to implement everything in UNA are the BOT within the Constitution. Okay? So, a case in point, we had a counselor, okay? This counselor wrote about UNA, the deficiencies in UNA, which anybody is not handling because like I've been saying on my media, that we keep mentioning these shortfalls, and nobody's listening to us, okay? But when they go out in the public, then people come, hey, we need to table them, okay? But we've been saying inside, and you're not bothering to table them, okay? You are ignoring. But when it goes out, then you make noise. And we say, now we got your attention because initially you are not you're not attending to us. We are trying to tell you this is what is going on and you're ignoring it. So this councillor member, for him, he does not talk, okay? He writes. That is how he voices his concern. There are mechanisms of voicing your concern. One for him, me, I talk. You find me everywhere going to talk. Mr. Albert is going to talk. Madam Lydia is going to keep quiet and implement what is supposed to be implemented. She's an implementer, okay? So the other one is a writer, you know. So for him, that is all he does. So he wrote his stuff out and put it out somewhere. You know, when you write, you have to put something somewhere. So the BOT received the petition, and the petition was that this person should be taken to a Rules and Disciplinary Committee, which committee I sit on, okay? And they said, I'm also a member of that committee. So they said that in this committee, they should discipline him and look at why he's taking UNA down the wrong path. Okay. Then we said, why are you gagging him? Okay. We have been mentioning these things and none of you has been taking keen interest. Now that it has gone, you know, but you call it Chisajakude, you know, it has gone overboard. Now you're coming up to penalize somebody instead of working on the issues that he's raising in these articles, okay? you are now penalizing this person and making sure that he is not going to run, okay? Because it came during the time when they're allowing us to start running. That is when they start mentioning him, trying to gag him from running. And the Rules and Disciplinary Committee sat, okay? And I recused myself because I had already been into the whole discussion on all of the leadership groups. And even the chairman of that RDC was on those discussion groups and participated. I asked him to do the same. He refused to recuse himself, to give other people opportunity who have never been discussing it so that they can chair it and listen. Maybe they would get some good ways of what? Recommendations to BOT, despite the fact that even the other one who has written something has also gotten his recommendation. But they would also recommend certain things for us in UNA to do, you know. When we read the recommendation, it did not have anything for the BOT or for us in the leadership to do, but it had a penalty for the councillor member, okay? So the councillor member, when he gets recognized, when the RDC, the Rules and Disciplinary Committee, makes a decision, it brings it to the BOT. The BOT has to sit again and look at what the Rules and Disciplinary Committee has come up with, okay? And then also make its own conclusion and recommendation. Then pass them on to council. They come to council. Council has also to look at it, make recommendation, and vote on it, okay? Now, when it came to council, when we are starting to table it in council, a council member raised and said, that person is on your team, so we don't think that you're gonna be a person who's gonna listen to it in due diligence, no impartiality. So I said, you're very right. And also my other two people, which the constitution mandates, okay? Thank you, Mami. Which the constitution mandates, okay? Are also going to be in the same camp as I am because they're also in team unity. Now the constitution cannot mandate Madam Speaker to delegate to a council member a matter which is before the council. It clearly says it has to be Deputy Speaker, Secretary, with the approval of Madam VP. So we were tongue-tied, or we had to hit a snag. And we decided this matter, which is in council right now, we're going to move it to the next council. We got councillor members who were just wanting to listen to the matter and crucify somebody because they are in a camp or they are told to do exactly that. But me as a lawyer and a person who wears the wimp of justice, I cannot allow injustice to be done to a councillor member. Whether you're from Team Action, Team Unity, Team Independence, Team Cow, you will get your justice because justice has to be served in all organs and not one organ to be the pioneer or the suppressor of everybody in UNA. So UNA, why we want all these BOT Rules and Disciplinary Council executive, we want a UNA that is non-discriminatory. I've found a lot of injustice in UNA, especially to its members. And I want to bring that to the table here and in the AGM and say, why are we always discriminating against our fellow members, our fellow leaders, and try to divide our organ or our members? We should be trying as much as possible to unite our members, to push forward for unity, to be embracing. Even though I'm going to ask you, Mr. Chigundu, a father, when your child goes and steals somewhere, does he cease to be your child? No, it does not cease to be your child. You have to correct your child and say, you know, whatever you did was wrong, you can discipline that time. And then that child continues to be in the role of a child. He does not move from a child to an adopted one or a surrogate one or anything. He remains a what? A child. So if a leader has done something wrong, he will remain a leader, but you can penalize that leader in a way which makes you know that you did some checks and balances.
A reprimand of some sort.
But not tarnish and remove membership and make him resign and everything. That was wrong from gate go. And I want to say it right out here on Tuchikube. It is wrong from gate go. Tuchikube chochiwe desebo. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, thank you. Nyawo webale nnyo. Okutunyonyolamu bina byotunyonyodde. Ebibuuzo nanyongeddeko naye kati kanzireyo. Let me go back to Lydia. Nyabo. Nkomyewo ewuwo and ngenda kuddana mu Luganda kubanga njagala nkikubuuze bulungi kubanga abantu nkiwulira ne bagamba lwaki kati lwaki Lydia kati balina kibagezaako okutegeeza obusimanyi bagwe kitegeera naye bagamba lwaki kati manyi wakikonyeko n'enkomyewo otuddiremu lwaki kati Lydia biki by'oyagala okukola.
Webale nnyo Mwami Kigundu. Thank you so much. I'm sure we could use Uganda because ndi mwana wante, but I believe our membership is not only specifically speaking Uganda. So I will again answer this in English. So okay. Why now? And I'm grateful that our next vice president, the deputy speaker, said what he said. But I want to also add on to that. Why not now? Why not now?
Okay.
And I'm sure
that's the question.
So many people ask me, she's a fellow woman. Why don't you let her take another term? And for me, just like I answered you prior, being on the part of the decision-making table, and you're working with other leaders, but your decisions are not listened to, we can get deeper. You bring ideas, and your ideas are not heard. You hear what's happening in the membership, and you bring it on the table because apparently the executive makes particular decisions that other organs do not. And I believe that is wrong. We need to change some of these so-called individualized voting or decision-making powers. Case in point, Madam Speaker talked about it. COVID hit when we got into office. Convention is supposed to be in San Francisco. Of course, we had a virtual convention. I want to assure our membership and you, our hosts, that convention was actually going to happen. All the leaders in the executive had voted yes. I voted no. I made a lot of noise. The council leadership came on board. I brought my little scientific knowledge I have. I was working in the hospital by then. And COVID hit. People were dying. We all have eyes to see. Why do we give a deaf ear and a blind eye to decisions that matter to our people if we are really leaders? And leaders is not just having titles. It's serving. These are parents. Why would you want to bring parents in a space where there's COVID and they can easily get it? This is an airborne disease, invisible disease. Long story short, a decision was taken up and we had a virtual convention. And I believe you all saw that it was effective. We were able to meet, even though we are not in person. We were able to have a gathering of Ugandans, even those who cannot even afford to go to the convention. So moving forward to this year, the same decision was brought on the table. This is why I'm telling you, why not now? And the time is now for servant leadership to come into UNAA, not individualized leadership, not for God and my stomach, but for God and our community. So a decision comes back now to choose where the convention is going. We are in a meeting, and somebody can say, why you have to talk about this? That is why Councillor Mugen was taken off the ballot paper, because it's talking about the brokenness in our organization, which is not supposed to be that way. So we come into the meeting. I reason, why are we going to another state when we already had a state, San Francisco, the local organizing committee, that was already working for a year. Ideas were brought on the table. These are UNAA members. And you know, when you're a local organizing committee, you work extra hard for the convention. It's the most exciting part of the entire year. People are looking forward. So you people on ground have to work so hard to make sure it's worth people's money. So we start to debate. And I said, let us take back the convention to San Francisco. Because actually, most of our people were reaching out to me. We need our convention back to San Francisco. I could have even a vote. I had one vote, and the rest was no. So they brought Cincinnati. I want to tell our membership, I did not vote on Cincinnati, Ohio. And I want to tell our members in San Francisco, in California, which is my home state, I wanted the convention back to California, to our state, to San Francisco, to the local organizing committee, to also have an opportunity, and that was failed. Okay. I could continue to say, why not now? Because we need leaders who can listen. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have the final say. And also leaders who care about the members. Mm-hmm. So if you really cared about the members in San Francisco, in California, who were literally waiting for this convention to come home, mm-hmm. and you choose to dictate where convention must go, we don't want the dictatorial part of Uganda. And I'll say this again, we are not going to allow the dictatorial leadership in Uganda to come to UNAA. And that is why we're coming. I am coming to put back UNAA into the hands of our people in the diaspora. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Very well done. Thank you very much, Lydia. And let me use the opportunity to clarify, because I saw some of our followers concerned why I asked a question in another language. I do so because the title of my show is Agafa mu Bwengula. I do most of it in Luganda. So I have to try to balance. Like I said at the beginning, feel free to answer in any language that you like. So I ask, I'm not intending or insinuating anything, but because I know that my followers, some of them like to hear that language other than the English. So that's all. I don't have any other intent behind my questioning. So I'm going to take a quick break, just quick break, and I'm going to go back to Albert. Albert.
Yes, sir.
When I was trying to find you, you said I'm happy to engage with anybody, but on the issues. So my question is to you. I want you to think about it as I go into the commercial break. What are the issues as Albert sees them?
Yes, sir.
And how do those compare to what he's hearing people? You know, what are you hearing? What are the issues as you see them? And what are the issues as you hear them? Is there any gap in there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. So I am going to go to a quick commercial break here, and then we'll be right back.
Oli mwagalwa wange gwe muganzi wange ate kati kiki ekikuleetedde okubulangana okwo okubukabuka n'okuwankawaka egobe mu mutima gwo embeera zo zitiisa zimalamu amaanyi.
All right, I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Albert, good
yes,
to
sir.
see you again.
Thank you so much.
What are the issues as you see them? Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity again. So the issues as they see them. Again, I'm a long-time UNA member, but a new leader in UNA. I only joined leadership in UNA in 2019. Prior to that, I didn't know who Afande Momo was. I didn't know who Madam Lydia Natoolo was. We just met in the service of our members in UNA. Let me start by saying, I'm a grown man. I don't follow just for the sake of following. I'm on Lydia Natoolo's ticket. She asked me to be her vice president, and I accepted. Not because I subscribe to everything that she does or says. Mm-hmm. It's only because I subscribe to her heart. Mm-hmm. I have worked with that woman, this woman here on the screen, for the last 2 years. Her heart is always in the right place. And for me, that's good enough. She can make mistakes. We can stumble along the way. But if your compass is pointing north always, you will do the right thing. And we will do the right thing by UNA members, if given the opportunity. So let me go back to your question. What are the issues that I've found them in UNA? Or what do I hear out there? The number one contentious issue is money from Uganda and government involvement in UNA affairs. UNA affairs are UNA affairs. This is our community organization, primarily to serve us and our needs. It is true, and it is appropriate for the government of Uganda to have its ear and even some level of involvement in what we do here. If there was a government in Uganda that did not pay attention to us as an influential, elite group of Ugandans living outside, it would be crazy. So I don't begrudge them for doing that. However, we would like to see a different relationship, a different kind of engagement by the government. And I see you've put out our screen there. So that would be actually number 9. Redefine the relationship between UNA and Kampala. How has the relationship been? It has been one where they tell us what to do. They do things that they think work for us. We don't have a seat at the table. Yes, once in a while, the president gets on a plane here and goes to Uganda and schmoozes with the leaders in Kampala. But that's not good enough. If they're writing a policy that affects us as Ugandans in the diaspora in North America, we would want to be on the table. I'll give you a good example. We have this good thing that came out of our lobbying where they can give us dual citizenship, where they can give us national IDs at the embassy. But guess what? In order to get those items, you have to do fingerprinting. In order to do fingerprinting, you have to get on a plane if you're living in California to come to Washington, D.C. to do your fingerprinting. That doesn't work for us. And I can guarantee you somebody who proposed that kind of implementation is not a member of our community. So that has to change. If somebody like you, Mr. Chigundu or Lydia Natoolo, was at the table in Kampala as the policymakers were writing that or testifying before Parliament when they were doing that, then Parliament would have included some money to the embassy to see that that is done differently. I see now the Ambassador Katende and some efforts of the Vice President have yielded some ways where they have been now trying to come to the communities and do these things. But their budget is limited because that was not envisioned by the people who set up that program. So that's one. The second part is the money that comes out of Uganda, the 100,000 that has been having us on each other's neck. It's not a bad thing that the government of Uganda would like to help. And I have had these conversations with the ambassador. The problem is that in prior years, up to now, there has not been a clear, accountable, transparent process of how that money is dispersed or how it's accounted for. The taxpayers of Uganda, whether they part with $1 or $500,000, should have an accountability. And I do not believe that we have been doing that over the years. If we don't do that, if we continue not doing that, we will continue to be on at each other's neck. The other one is the collaboration. How do we collaborate with the Uganda embassy? This morning I was on another show where I said we are all ambassadors of Uganda. Mr. Chigundu, you probably have met more Americans than the deputy ambassador at the U.S. embassy here, the Ugandan embassy here in Washington, D.C. Because every time we're moving around and people are asking us and they hear our accent, they're asking, where are you from? So in other words, we are the frontline ambassadors of Uganda. So I asked a question, and I will ask it to you and to your audience. What is wrong with the frontline ambassadors, the Alberts and the Kigundus and the Lydias? What is wrong with those ambassadors talking with the ambassadors at the Embassy of Uganda? And we are proposing in our pledge to the community, let's have UNA leaders meet monthly with the Embassy of Uganda officials, so we can see and talk about the services that they provide, especially the consular services, and what needs are in the community. We coordinate our efforts. That has not been happening. And I know you have been asking Lydia a question a couple of times, why now? Well, why now is because if not now, when? We've been waiting for 33 years for some of these things to happen. So we're not proposing things that are so pie in the sky. No, these are simple things that we can do, that those who have been in power up to now have not been able to do. And I don't agree that somehow Madam President is a new leader in UNA. She has been a kingmaker. Now she is the queen. So she has had access to leaders of UNA, past and present. If there was a new program, like I just proposed, for example, to meet monthly with the Ugandan embassy officials, if she had that as an original thought, she would have proposed it and they would have done it. If we are proposing number 10 on your screen to build a home for UNA, she has been a kingmaker, now she's the queen. If she knew how to do that, she would have proposed it and done it. Okay? Yep. Exactly. So those are the kind of things that I've seen. The second part, what I've seen is the issues in the community. Constitutionalism. When the first thing that I noticed when I got into UNA was there was a discrepancy between what the Constitution says and what UNA leaders do. So they had that disconnect. And that is probably the biggest problem we've had with the executive. And that's why you hear, oh, they were fighting. No, for some of us, the rule of law really means something. You get somebody like a military woman like Afande
Momo.
You're not going to tell her this is done this way when clearly there's a document that we swore to uphold that says otherwise. Then you're going to fight with her.
Yeah.
And that's a problem that they were having with us, in that the Constitution says one thing and they were doing another thing. Again, if not now, when? When will we change this? And the third one that we saw was the community emergencies that keep arising of the times we're in, especially in COVID. Okay? It's the urgency of now has arrived. We were not prepared for all these years. We now have to move very fast. Our people are dying. There was an issue, and I've seen this even on some of the WhatsApp going, oh, Albert Bakasara opposed repatriation. And say, well, I'm breaking this to you. UNA does not have an insurance or repatriation program. I repeat that. UNA does not have an insurance or repatriation program. Yeah, they might have posted something over there to try and be passive aggressive, but it's not legal. If it does, can somebody show me the guidelines for it? If it does, can somebody tell me which account collects the money and who collects the money? If it does, what's the company that is running it? It's not true. They brought a program that originally started with the council. The executive tried to take it out and do it on their own and hand it over to one councillor. We asked questions, the meeting blew up, and that was the end of it. They tried to do an illegal meeting that was not constitutional. It didn't go any far. They appealed to the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees looked at our response and said, you guys go work it out. And that's the end of it. Okay, so if somebody is being told that there is a program, it does not exist. That's all I said as Albert Bakasara. What else did I say about the life insurance? Mr. Chigundu, if you're a young man, go purchase insurance that actually protects your family. Do not go buy yourself a coffin and a plane ticket to get you back to where you came from. That is not progressive for our community. We pay cable, we drink beers, we do pork joints all over the weekend. That is not a life insurance program. Life insurance is not for the dead, it's for the living. You don't protect your family by buying yourself a ticket when you're dead back to Uganda. We are all able-bodied people. Those people who would like to get that kind of insurance, who don't have kids, responsibilities, or they have maybe, and that's the only thing they can do, they are very, very, very few among us. Okay, I have said that too. So if somebody wants to harangue me that somehow Albert says don't get insurance, no, you're wrong.
As we say, Albert, in Uganda, we say Simba Wakati. In other words, let me just stop you just a little bit there.
Thank you, sir.
The argument, or the other side, and I'll be honest, I myself made the same argument, which is when I see insurance in America or in many countries, the governments want everybody to have full coverage insurance on a car, for example. Everybody on the road. The desirable end would be everybody have insurance. But because they cannot ensure that everybody does, so they go for a minimum. In Uganda, it's called third-party insurance. And I think here in the US, they have a minimum floor where at least in terms of risk, let us get a minimum covered. So the argument I have had for repatriation is that it looks like we have a problem in the community where the GoFundMe and all those things, as you know, I don't have to go into detail. So how do we solve that particular problem? Looks like much as we want everybody to go out and get full coverage insurance, life insurance policies, it looks like people are not doing it, yet we have this problem. Once death strikes, we got to do something. So how do we solve that minimum as we shoot for the higher end?
How do we solve it? Well, I'll give you what Team Unity will do. We are a big membership organization, or at least we intend to grow it to that level. We can go out there, and we will go out there if you folks entrust us with leadership. We will go out there and negotiate affordable rates, whereby the same amount of money that you probably will be paying to get 30 grand will give you 100 grand. That's what we do. I'm a member of the Federal Employees Union. They have rates as low as $30 for $100,000. That's what we can do. I am not proposing that people somehow who want this minimum don't do it. And by the way, the issue, the saying that, oh, Albert and some others opposed it, that's why it's flopping or whatever it is, that's not true. Okay. Councillor James Mugeni put it best when we first had these arguments in leadership. He said, lepers do not sell meat. Omugenge tatunda nyama, let me put it in Uganda. Because there's no trust. When you look at omugenge and you look at the meat, you're not going to buy it as clean as the meat might be. Okay. There's a deficit of trust in our community. Members don't trust us. They're not willing to part with their money. I can tell you, Salongo, until we get to a point where we've created a trust bond between us and our members, we are never going to get enough numbers to sign on whatever insurance program we are selling, however good it is. We have to first bridge that gap. Okay. You can't sell people tickets to a boat cruise and you don't give them the seat on the boat. You sell them a dinner in Chicago and people miss out their dinner. And somehow you say, oh, by the way, I'm going to run the most important aspect of your family decision, your life insurance. Nobody's going to come to you. Those who do, or maybe they've never heard of your past record, and they're not going to be enough of those. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Lydia, I come back to you.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to put back this screen here again. Make your pick. Otherwise, I would want to hear from you. What are the Canada plans? But make your pick, because now I want to give you an opportunity to get something off your mind randomly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chigundu. And I want to appreciate you for actually putting our pledge on the screen so even our members can see what exactly we're bringing on the table. I want to make this clear. This is a social contract from Team Unity to our UNA membership and the diaspora. Why do we add on the diaspora? UNA is an umbrella organization for Ugandans in the US and also Canada. And as we all know, there are so many of our Ugandans who do not want to be part of UNA anymore, who have never even been part of UNA. So that's why we put on that it's a social contract between Team Unity, the UNA membership, and the diaspora. In the long run, we want to make sure we get our Ugandans, first of all, those who have left, to come back home, because this is the organization. But also those who have never even gotten to UNA to also join the best organization in the diaspora. 33 years is a long time for us to have a convention with 1,200 people. So when we go back to our pledge, our first point is to provide services. Why do we say services to our membership? For the time of being as a vice president, as you heard, Madam Speaker, what the council has been able to do, I've been able to bring and work with the council leadership to implement an immigration program. And I will speak over this over and over again. Just like Mr. Deputy Speaker had to say, I want to let the people know I did not refuse the repatriation program. But just because there are questions asked, there are other steps that need to be done for the program to be implemented. I've seen people out there saying that when I say that we've been able, and it's not just me, I've worked with the council leadership, I'll insist, with even Councillor Ponteafa, to be able to help 7 of our Ugandans, brothers and sisters, come out of immigration prisons. Again, we can sugarcoat this and call them detentions. These are prisons. Well, there are other members in the community who are doing the same. But under my leadership, under my office, and one of them is a mother of 2. Why do I emphasize that? Imagine a mother of 2 in a prison. And I also want to let the world know, our membership, when you heard about the Mexican caravan, how many of you know or knew that we have our Ugandans at the border in Mexico? So we're working with lawyers and also organizations that literally advocate and sometimes raise funds for our people. And some of these funds have actually been coming out of our pockets, not to literally put ourselves high, but because we know UNA does not have money. We wanted to first get the job done on our end, and then our team is going to come and implement further, because we still have more. So that is one of the major programs we've been able to bring. And somebody might say, where are they? We signed a contract. This is legal. You cannot put somebody's name out there because you never know. You know some of the characters in our community. They've been calling the immigration to come and pick up their fellow Ugandans out of their homes, and they're taken back to Uganda. So we are protecting our people. We've been able to work for their paperwork. We've been able to get them jobs, housing. It's called a 90-day program. And now they're on their way to the American dream, where we're also trying to find our own too. The emergency fund, that is Madam Speaker's baby. She fought for it. But they were able to work on the guidelines, brought it to the executive, been able to vote it on. And this is a great fund that will help, a program that can help our people. How many of you know we have Ugandans who are homeless? There's so many things we want to work on. And those are some of the services. I don't want to go down the road. There's so many we need to do. Youth empowerment programs, culture. Our children are losing their culture. They don't even know how to greet. You can find a young girl standing and say, hi. Febatukuza inofukamira mukulu mama munobasanga mama nosanga tata omuntu yena kusinga obukulu nofukamira. We need to do that for our young generation. Point number 2, open UNA to all community members. Why do we say that? For so many years, UNA seems like it's a 3-day event. And I'm not here to bash the leaders who have been before us. I've seen leaders going in communities, independence celebration days, leaders going at events that are in their close proximity. But we need to make it better and bigger, that we can hold events in different cities, invite members to come and literally know who their leaders are. I was speaking with Madam Speaker at Radio Boston, Uganda yesterday, and she said when she came into leadership, she had no idea who her council representative was. That's a shame. So we want to make sure when leaders come to serve, can UNA also be able to accommodate them, that they can travel into communities. I know that was our agenda too, our team, but COVID hit. We were able to put on Zoom sessions, financial literacy classes, to connect with our members. Let's go to 3, be accountable and transparent. I don't think I can go deep into that. The brokenness in UNA is some leaders thinking they're not accountable to anything. Money disappearing through the narrows of the convention halls. An organization left in deficit. And they're not accountable to that. No one is going to question them. They're not transparent to taxpayers' money, by the way, but also to the membership money. Where does this money go that people pay membership? Those are some of the questions I used to have. Registration. I know it's organizing a convention, but this year we've been able to, the treasurer has done a great job. I'm not saying everything is broken for our year, but better has to be done. We need to make sure to tell the membership, you raised $100,000. We used, let's say $99,000. Now we have $10,000 in the account. But then somehow we had to take care of something and 5,000 was gone. So here's the 5,000. Simple mathematics. Basic. But no, our team is saying enough is enough. Our vice president works for the government treasury. Think about that. We have brilliant leaders. But just like we said, it's a few clusters who are making decisions, by the way. And I also want to point this out. The few who are inside are working with the group outside, and they're making decisions for the membership of UNA. Whereby we have leaders in UNA who are serving, who are not paid, volunteering their time, energy. Like I said, I've been to 7 states. No one is paying me to do this. Using my own money and a few friends to travel, to meet the people, and to say we need a better UNA. Moving on. Bring unity and cohesion. We've talked about being in a meeting, and you are actually on the executive, but you're not heard. Your decisions don't matter. Your ideas don't matter. That is why I'm coming now. And enough is enough. We need to bring cohesion. One group, one organ cannot dictate that a member of the council is going to be taken off the council without letting the rest of the organs come and say, really? 6 counts. He was guilty of 6 counts. Councillor Mugeni, when there are people who are stealing and embezzling money and they've never been brought and given 6 counts, His membership was given back just a couple weeks ago. He was taken off the ballot. We need the membership of UNAA to know these things are happening behind the scenes. And here we're here to say we're not going to be silent anymore. Enough is enough. Our people in Uganda do not have a voice. We have a voice, and we're going to use it for the good of the membership of UNAA, to bring clarity, to create an organization that serves for good, for the people who spend their earned income. Our people work day in and day out. Sometimes the only vacation they have is a convention. Why don't we deliver services? And also even dream bigger, think bigger for them. 6, implement a UNAA community emergency program. Like I said, that's Madam Speaker's baby. She dreamt it, implemented it in the council, and that emergency fund is going to be helping our people. Once we bring it to the membership, and you can give an opportunity to actually clarify why. But for me, when we talk about the money coming from Uganda, we are going to bring it to the AGM. The people have to vote. I want to let every Ugandan who will be in Cincinnati come to the AGM. The AGM is the least attended event. The boat cruise will be filled. The ballroom will be filled. But the place where you members need to make decisions that actually cater to you, you don't show up. So this time, show up and let your voice be heard. And that is why I'm saying, if you vote no to the money from Uganda, even the ambassador talked about it. If the membership of the diaspora doesn't want that money, vote on it and let the government know. But I just want to bring simple mathematics again. We have more than 150,000 Ugandans in the diaspora. And those are the ones who want to be known anyway. If every Ugandan gave $1, that's even more than what we get from Uganda. That's 150,000. If now every Ugandan gave $10, that's 1.5. Like basic math. And we know there are others who can give 100 or 500 or 2,000 or grand, something. So if we can let our membership know this is your organization, put in some money, and then part of that money will take a percentage and put it in the emergency program. That if a member is lacking rent, why can't UNAA step in? If a member is on the street, why can't UNAA step in? 33 years, we should have an apartment building somewhere. Let me stop there. 7, professionalize UNAA operations. We have so many professionals in UNAA. Why are we doing mediocre work? We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have accountants, we have our members in the military, but when you look at what UNAA gives its membership, and I'm not saying that we're going to be perfect in this, no, but every great achievement starts with an idea, and an idea that's brought on the table that we as a team are going to get together and work on it, but also make sure that we reach out. No man is an island. You can't say that you're the only one who knows how to make things done. So we reach out to the professionals. We say, hey, come on the table. Let us work together. Let us create professionalism, and we take doctors to Uganda. Now during this COVID time, we didn't have doctors in our hospitals. Why not get all the doctors here and say, hey, let's take a trip to Uganda. Let us support our country, our people. Teachers, take a vacation for a month. Let us go to Uganda. Number 8, bring culture of constitutionalism. I cannot say enough how proud I am to say the Deputy Speaker of the House, the next Vice President of UNAA, and I declare that in the name of the Lord. He knows the Constitution from page 1 to the last one, and he brings it down to you and breaks it to you. You'll understand. The Constitution to me is like the Bible. But if you don't understand the words that are there, that's why everyone has their interpretation of the Constitution. Leaders are making decisions without even following basic black and white words. They look at them and they said, well, the last leaders, this is how they were doing. But you have the information on paper. Once you follow basic words. So I'm grateful that our Vice President will be there in the boardrooms. He will be there. And he will make sure that we can all understand the basic words on paper, if we can't. Number 9, which I know a lot of our membership are going to ask, why did we bring this on paper as a pledge? To redefine the relationship of the Ugandan government with the UNAA. We all know the brokenness we have with this relationship. Definitely started out on the right track. Leaders asked for this money. 50,000 is going to help the convention. 50,000 is going to the community members. Community leaders who are actually doing a great job, helping our people who are in jail, hosting independence celebrations, bringing our people together, definitely yes. If they need this money, definitely yes. But then we have leaders along the way who have used their position to literally travel back home to Uganda and change the relationship that was started on the right path. And now it's for their own stomachs. And the funny part, when they go and they get this money, they don't even come and tell other leaders. They use it for their own good. But then we get the information. We get the information.
Okay.
It's interesting that not everyone in the government is actually okay. They see them. They're in those meetings with them. And then they deliver the information to us. We know them. And that is why we're coming. To redefine the relationship. The government of Uganda is supposed to be providing basic resources like bringing Ndangamuntu to the communities. You cannot tell a Ugandan who lives in California to fly to Washington, D.C., to take fingerprints, and then they send paperwork. They go back to California, and then they have to come back to Washington, D.C., and pick up a basic ID, which is the most important document, by the way, for Ugandan to hold right now. You can't have a cell phone without it. You can't even buy land without it. Basic. Why can't we have the government send money to Washington, D.C.? And by the way, that is the second project I proposed under my office. I called the ambassador. We exchanged a lot of information to make sure that he can come with his team to communities so that members can have that basic ID. In April next year, the passport we're using is going to expire. Every Ugandan in the diaspora has to have the East African passport. And I know most Ugandans don't know this in the diaspora. Why can't the government, if really they want a relationship with the people in the diaspora, provide that basic service that the embassy can come to the communities? We did it. When we discussed it, of course, COVID hit, money was not available in the embassy. And I know I'm speaking truth. I've been in communication with the ambassador. But recently, I was able to fly to Houston. Our committee members from Houston, if they're here, they can testify on that. We were there with the leadership of the embassy, and they were able to get their fingerprints. They're able to apply for the East African passport or renew their passports. And then in Cincinnati, they'll be able maybe to get their Ndangamuntu. So if we can do it for Houston, I believe we can do it for the rest of the states. Committee leaders have been waiting. So that was actually my idea. I brought to the executive. And I told you, every dream, everything that happens in this world, it starts with an idea. Bring on the table. But you have to be part of the decision-making table. And I know our team will be able to implement this even further and ask the government if really they want to work with us, they should support the embassy financially. And if that's not a case, community members have been telling me we can actually help the embassy and give them transportation, flights, get hotel rooms for them so they can come to us. Community members have told me that. So this is what we're going to do. Lastly, which is also very vital and important, for 33 years, UNAA has been in the briefcases of presidents. There's no home for UNAA. The only office that was brought into space was when Major Frank Musisi was president. And Mr. Chugun, I don't know whether you know this. I used to volunteer in that office.
Didn't know that.
Eastern University in Boston.
Didn't know that. Yep.
And every evening, after my classes, I could drive to Waltham. Community members in Waltham know that about me. Major Frank Musisi can also testify. He talks about it everywhere. And I used to sit in that office because he used not to live in Massachusetts. And that is where the heart of serving my community actually also was literally pulled up. Members used to call me, they don't have a home to stay. Bakajja tebalina bipapula, UNAA bakoledde ki? So, and UNAA did not even have any resources. So what if we had an office in Boston? What if we had an office in California? What if we had an office in Chicago? This is what we are pledging to our membership. And this is why we are coming. I'm coming as your president and Team Unity. Back to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lydia. There we have it. UNAA decides 2021-23. Okulonda kwammwe nze wano mpulira byabogera ebirowoozo byabwe si bya mukutu guno. Decision is yours. Choice you, as I say, 2021, 2023, Cincinnati, Ohio. That's where we're all going. Everybody's going, as far as I can tell, right? Is that what it is? Everybody should come out. But very important, this one, I pay particular attention to two things: membership and the AGM. Because I think once we crack those, if members can become members and stay members continuously, and maybe let's bump up the number. I share that. I agree with that. Let's increase the membership fee. We will be on our way into, freeing ourselves from having to be waiting for money to come from some other place. So those two, I'll add my voice to whenever I get the chance. Now, there are questions there. We're wrapping it up. I'm going to have everybody 2 minutes to wrap up. I don't know if you want to answer any of those questions. I think some of it you've already alluded to. Patrick also had a question earlier. I think a good amount of that is already in your submission. Maybe we'll have you another time and you could answer some of those. And we have a debate. We have a debate coming up on the 29th. There'll be more opportunity to answer some of those, the how-tos, because what we are cooking or what we're thinking is that I have a journalist, completely new member in the community. All she's looking at is their platforms. This is what the mandate I gave her. Look at their platforms and then what they have put in their platform. So there will be opportunity to answer more of those questions. So my viewers, if your question doesn't get answered today, please bear with me because my time is almost out. But we will be back. Hopefully, I'll continue to look for these contenders, and whenever I get them, I'll have them on, and they can answer more of your questions. So wrap up. Madame Afande, you go first.
Yes, in a nutshell and in a wrap, I'd say this, that when you want a leader who is ready to work and serve, who really has worked, who really has volunteered, who really has passion, who really wants to follow, who really looks for development, and a leader who knows her people. Because it's the people that make a leader. It is not, you can't lead on your own. The people make you the leader you have to be. So if our people say that they have trust in my leadership, and I have led you, and I'm still willing to lead you to the promised land, which is the non-profit organization, because that is not there in UNAA. The non-profit lost its status. And I'm saying, vote for Afande Momo, Maureen Asimwe Kalemba, into the executive office. Vote for a team of competent leaders so that they can give you the leadership you desperately desire to see in UNAA. We bring that with every passion and zeal and discipline we got, because we are trained in that. You don't need to train us, by the way, because we are already federal trained, we are already state trained, we are already, medically trained. Okay, we have a trained treasurer. I can't beat that up, because he's awesome. If UNAA misses out on that opportunity of that treasurer, we would have missed a lot. We would have missed a lot. If UNAA misses out on the opportunity of this Madam President, Natoolo Lydia, it would have missed out a lot, because time is now. If UNAA misses the wisdom of Mr. Albert Bakasara, UNAA would have made a loss. And if UNAA misses out on Afande Momo, wow, I would be like, where is UNAA going? If UNAA misses out on a team, that even includes Mr. Mike Mukasa, Liombia, Henry, Fred Lugama, name it, Karoba Semera, Zash, Zahara. Wow, what would we be doing? Because these are people who, like I said on all my media, their hands are ready to work. They want to get dirty. They've rolled up their sleeves. So this is what I'm saying. Vote Afande Momo Maureen Asimwe Kalemba as your next executive secretary, and vote for our team to bring you the brilliancy, to bring you the wisdom, and to move this organization a notch higher than what it is today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There we have it. UNAA decides 2021-23. Albert.
Yes, sir.
Wrap it up. Chukbe. Yes. Smash it out of the ball.
Amanya agafande sigaina. But I'll muster some energy and say this.
Okay.
One is to just add on a couple of things in the Vice President's submission on some of the services. And also to clarify, well, she did clarify, just to add my voice to it. We are not bringing to UNAA, or we're not promising UNAA members some pie in the sky scheme. We're not even calling our thing a manifesto, because manifestos are aspirational and inspirational documents. Ours is a simple pledge to our community, a social contract where we give you, where we're not going to come back in 2 years to campaign again. No, we're going to give you timelines of the things we will do, when we will do them, how we will do them, in a consultative and collaborative way. Consultative meaning we will consult you as members. You are the owners of this organization. We will not do things that the organization does not want us to do. It will be our job to sell you a vision and you to decide on that vision. And part of it is what the conversation we're having today is all about. Collaborative. We need to work together and look for all the talents that we have and bring them together to help our community. A good example, I think I asked in my last video, UNAA members, how has your registration exercise been? How did you find the system? Well, if you didn't know, UNAA has about 5 different entities, different organs and committees. Out of those people, there are about 12 IT experts who could have sat together, worked together, and give you guys a pleasurable experience registering for a UNAA convention or UNAA membership. You didn't have that experience because we lacked the talent. You did not have that experience because we lacked leadership. Okay, we screamed from the beginning, telling our executive secretary, Mr. Lambert, sir, the system is not working. And his response was always, oh, it's you guys who don't know how to use it. The system is not working. It's you who don't know how to use it. Well, really? So Mr. Chigundu started this conversation by asking, why now? Well, this is not a fight. It's a contest of ideas and a contest of visions. If you can wait longer and bear another horrible experience of registration next year, please, by all means, vote for Lambert. But if you want to change, to see that change now, to say, you know what, how can we as an organization in this day and age fail to have a simple basic registration system? Then try Maureen. Trust me, that woman will get a system that works for you. If you think that somehow we can continue like in the council, I'm the deputy speaker, I can tell you, the first budget from Madam President and the treasurer came to us 4 months late. It was understandable. They said, oh, Atigo didn't deliver us good books and all that kind of stuff, so we excused that. The second one came 6.5 months late. So if you guys want another one to come 9 months late next year, by all means, vote for that team. But I guarantee you, as a federal budget officer, I will make sure that the budget that comes out of our executive will be one that is on time. Actually, it will be done in advance so that you guys at the AGM look at it. A budget of UNAA is not a secretive document. But in this UNAA that we have found, it is. As a matter of fact, when the president sends it to us, she adds on that this is privileged information that we should not share. I disagree. I completely disagree. This is not a budget that should be secret, because a budget is a statement of values as well as a statement of policy. UNAA members should be able to look at a budget to see if it reflects their priorities. And if it doesn't, they can oppose it right there and then. So let me complete my submission by saying, some of the things that we're proposing, they're not rocket science. As a matter of fact, when we explain them, you'll wonder, why didn't UNAA do that a long time ago? Well, like I said in the beginning, we're not blaming the past UNAA leaders. We're just saying they worked according to their abilities, and that's what their abilities led them to. That's what we can't blame them for that. Okay. So, because, for example, Lydia talks about immigration. We have a plan in 3 months, between now and December, to have an immigration hotline online. Well, how does that work? We already have a WhatsApp where they have immigration lawyers who have been helping Lydia and others to work with our people in detention centers. We're going to add on to that list other immigration lawyers to give us pro bono hours, free hours, to help our community. All we will do is coordinate a calendar. Most of our Ugandan people know this, because some of them work in areas like hospitals where you have what they call somebody on call. Whether it's a nurse or a doctor, you're on call, right? So it's simple. It's going to work for, if you say that, Mr. Chigundu, you are an immigration lawyer and you're going to give us 4 hours, we will have an 800 number. Mr. Chigundu is on the clock for the UNAA pro bono 4 hours on Saturday between 10 and 2 o'clock. So if there is anybody who has an immigration problem in that space of time and calls that 1-800 number, the call will go to Kigundu. And that person can get that first contact. And then if they need more follow-up and more resources, then that's a different story. But our people don't even need that much. Sometimes it's just a simple question. And they need to call and somebody answer. Homelessness. Again, we will have that number, a number that says, hey, this is a database of our people, community leaders in the US. We don't have that right now. When somebody is stranded in Ohio, in Minnesota, somewhere, and they call a UNAA number for help, we should be able to say, you know what? Salongo Chigundu is actually 2 blocks from where you are, because I can see your call right here. You are saying you are in Chicago on the corner of 15th and this. Call this number. Let's talk to Salongo Chigundu. And Salongo Chigundu is saying, what? You're Ugandan, you're a brother, you're a sister. I have a basement. Sleep on the couch there. We don't have that right now. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not rocket science. We're not going to promise you what we can't deliver. That's why we're not calling ours a manifesto. It's a pledge, meaning what we're promising you, we will do.
Ah, okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Albert. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, Lydia, 2 minutes, please, because I got to wrap it up.
I thought our vice president would ask for a vote before you come to me.
Oh,
well,
I had forgotten that. I had forgotten that. Albert Bakasara, offering myself to serve you as your vice president. Please come to Cincinnati and support us, support Team Unity, support Lydia, support me. Put us in there as a unit and hold us accountable as a unit. Again, we are not fighting our opponents. We are one family. This is a contest of visions for our community. If you don't like our vision and you are okay with the vision and the things how they are, by all means, go and vote for our opponents. I'm asking you, I'm begging you, go vote for them. If you think things are okay, they meet the challenges of today, go vote for them. I have no qualms with you on that. If you believe that we can do better as a community, don't make excuses of trying to say, oh, let's give Madam President another year or 2 years. No, Madam President has been a queen maker since 2013 to now. She is the queen. She has had the opportunity to lead.
All right.
She has not. We will.
All right.
I thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Lydia, you go. Let's wrap it up. I gotta close shortly here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Chigundu, for this opportunity. You asked us to answer some questions. I don't know whether you can allow me. It's going to be so brief, and I know why this question was asked, because there's a lot going out there. Mr. Patrick Ogang asked, specifically mentioned me, Madam VP, how are you going to create trust in the community? Or how have you done that the last 2 years? But also that goes back to saying that there is this being narrative of, I made the money go back to Uganda, the Community Development Fund program money to go back to Uganda, that personally I did that, and which is wrong. It is pretty much politicizing and making sure that my name is labeled that way. What happened, again, it goes back to what Mr. Deputy Speaker said, our next Vice President of UNAA, that we had a failed system whereby we had, in the guidelines that were created, which we all have, community leaders have them, because I called a Zoom meeting, I gave them a copy, all of them, and part of the guidelines, the most important one, a local organization, you are connected to UNAA, let's say California example, the UCOCA, has to have 15 members in good standing. And then an affiliate, which is a culture organization, let's say NAMCA or Buganda Bumu, even though they don't want the money, that has to have 10 members. So the new system that was created, where now leaders in their communities were trying to register their members so they can get to the 15 or to the 10, it failed them. I have leaders who used to call me There was an event in Michigan. They had more than 30 members. They could not imagine the failure that came to UNAA, financially, but also in terms of membership. We've all been on big organizations whereby it's 10,000 people, and within seconds, you register. How hard is it for an organization that has, again, less than 2,000 members on paper to register them? We are in COVID time. I don't think we've even reached 700 members. How hard would that be? So we want also to hold other leaders accountable for what has happened. You cannot say the computer is the one that's messed up. Let us hold leaders accountable. Was this done intentionally? How can you tell your membership during COVID time? Members have lost their loved ones. They've lost jobs. Some their hours have decreased. And you're telling them to pay $50, but they are members of UNAA. Let us have a heart to serve our membership. So that is what happened, that the deadline by the time passed while we are waiting for the system to work, while we're calling the executive secretary. Why would everybody call the executive secretary to get this cleared? And why would you eventually say, now everybody has to pay $50? And when we question, just like the Deputy Speaker said, they're like, they should use the system is okay. It was not okay. And it's not okay for leaders who say they are coming here to serve and they don't get the job done effectively. As we know, we have evidence. While our members were recruiting to come back to UNAA, even through the struggles, even after begging them to pay $50, because we want them to come and vote leaders who are going to serve them. The other team, their members were paying $20. Mm-hmm. We have evidence. This is why I was saying we're not going to be silent. We have evidence. The same people that are registering, we're sending us screenshots. So let us continue to have these dialogues. We need the membership to know what some members have been doing, some leaders have been doing behind the scenes. While other leaders have been silent during these elections, previous ones, Team Unity is not going to be silent to the brokenness that has been happening, because it's not fair, especially to us leaders too, but also to the membership. So that's where we're coming out. That's why we're speaking up, because I say it again, we have a voice. Now again, to the membership of UNAA, Lydia Natoolo, I'm coming, been serving as your vice president, but because of the wrong, and I'm not saying I'm an angel, I'm going to correct everything, but at least the basic principles. A leader has to have integrity. A leader has to know wrong from right. A leader has to do what is necessary and true and just and fair. Lydia Natoolo will bring that with Team Unity. We have a team of 19. Again, one of our members was taken off, which was not fair. So 19 of us, we were able to bring Canada. That is one of our pledge. Number 5, Canada has been left behind. We'll bring them on the table. So please vote for Lydia Natoolo as your next president of UNAA, 2021-2023. Let us take UNAA to great heights and serve our membership and also our people back home in Uganda. May God bless you for God and our country.
All right. Thank you very much. There we have it. UNAA members, my viewers, my followers, you heard them. They told you exactly what they want to do, what they promised you to do, what they pledged to do for you. Me, I'm all here to host them and listen to them and ask you questions. That's all I do. And I wish all of you the best of luck going into Cincinnati. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I think that's it. We got to end it here. And
Yes,
I would love to have you back. if possible. Who knows? But this weekend we are in Chicago, where there's a huge
We coming.
You coming?
Thank you, Salongo. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So have a good one. Good to see you. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much.
Love is all we need. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Well, send them your heart so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free. As God has shown us by turning stone to bread.
And so we all must lend a helping hand.
We are the world. We are the children. We are
Kutumu pya tuchi be uchiwandika nga bwokiwulira